Hi, this is Jeff from Airstream Nerds. I'm home from my trip. I need to get this trailer off of my truck. When I get back, I'm going to show you my steps.
Airstream song, cruising to the campsite singing our song. Airstream song, we are the Airstream Nerds.
First thing I do is I have to put the wheel chocks on my tires. When I start unhooking this thing, I do not want her rolling down my driveway. It'd be kind of not a pleasant return from a nice trip. So next thing I do is I have some wood blocks that I use for underneath the jack. So I put my blocks in the right place, and that'll get that part. So then, essentially, if you remember hooking this thing up, hooking it up, unhooking it, it's just the opposite. So I'm going to take off, I'm going to take off the sway bars, which I'll show you on the other side here. So make sure you keep track of all your pins so you don't lose them. So first thing, like I said, so I'm just going to pull the pins out. Now, there should be no tension on these at all when you're parking your driveway. Super simple to come off. There's no finagling with this. Now, if you remember, and you can see right here, this thing, there's a lot of tension on this still. Mainly because my pad is this way and my truck is this way, so they're actually doing their job right now. So in order for me to release the pressure from these, I'm going to do like I did before, and I'm going to take the weight off the back of the truck by raising the trailer. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking that angle and I'm trying to straighten it out. So I raise it up a little bit, and you can tell. Remember, you have these clips here to take off too. But you can tell when you start pulling it down how much tension there is. And right now there's not a lot of tension. So I mean, that's barely any tension there. So you take that out. If you rotate these bars, remember before we had to jam them up in there. If you rotate them all the way back, they pull right out. Now, before the trip, you grease all these things up. I didn't show that in the previous video, but they're all greased up. So they're real dirty. So I generally just kind of set them to where I'm not going to get grease all over the driveway or myself or whatever. Oh, crap. I need this pole to drop the other one. So I take the pin out, like I said. Now sometimes, you know, if we're twisted a little bit, one of these bars have a little bit more tension. So always be careful. You can hear that one. A lot more noise on that one. So just be careful when you're doing it to hold onto the bar tight. So otherwise, you could get knocked by the weight popping loose. Move the bar out to the side. Now I can drop the weight off my truck. And as you see before, we got to about here and it started lifting up. Well, now we're going a lot farther down before we lift up. So now we're way down here before we actually start to lift it up. So what I'm going to do now, I've got the pressure off the truck. I need the keys. These are right here. So I'm going to take, now I use a lock, just that way I don't lose it. But you know, use the cotter pin. You got to put something there. So I'm going to pop this off. Now I'm going to raise the trailer back up. I have my wheels chocked. My trailer's not going to go anywhere. I can disconnect the chains. Put the chains back up in their spot. And I'm high enough now, I can pull my truck forward. So let me do that. So now I should be pulled enough forward just to keep. I like to put the cap back on here because that is the messiest part of this whole job, is the ball. I'm going to pull this pin out. Take the hitch out. Now we're all disconnected. I'm going to basically put this all back together, make sure everything's hung up, cover my thing, put all my tools away. Once again, this is Jeff from Airstream Nerds. Hit the like button, please subscribe. Put any comments or questions below, and I'll see you guys on the next trip.